Ready?
It's loading.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Okay. We have a quorum, I'm glad to see. As you know, David lost his mother a few days ago, so he won't be joining us, and I will send a note to him. We need to approve the minutes of December's meeting. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Okay, somebody figure out who said it. And Andre, you second?
Yep.
Any comments or questions about the minutes?
Good.
Hearing nothing. All in favor, raise your hands or say aye.
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 Hi, Aurelia.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
Okay,
good to see you.
thank you.
All righty, anybody opposed to the minutes as presented? Okay, minutes are accepted. Okay, review of the financial report. Just to precede this, I attempted to contact Paul via email to see if he would be willing to review these. I have not heard back from him. So I think I'll make a phone call that's more personal, and you can't squirm when you're on the phone with somebody. So I'll reach out to him again. But as to the financials, anybody have any questions or comments? And you know what, Jen, would you just do a quick review of where we stand financially? I look at the very last page of the very bottom number, and it doesn't look very pleasant.
Yes, we are in negative. You know, in terms of our net operating income, you know, our bank accounts are not in negative, fortunately, and the balance sheet is not in negative. We did have some income from the sale of 104 Washington in December. And, you know, we did get the Leviticus loan, the first, you know, we closed on the loan and we got the first installment.
Great.
And, you know, most of our expenses are related to renovation costs for our ongoing projects. You know, and that's kind of where we stand. We hope to have some more sales in the coming months, and we'll have more disbursements from that loan from Leviticus going forward. You know, and I did circulate kind of a 6-month cash flow projection to everyone. I don't know if you saw that or if it made sense, but essentially we're very dependent on sales happening as planned, which, you know, is a hard thing to pin down. But you know, it looks like we can maintain a positive balance if we can kind of keep things rolling, and make sure we get the revenue that we need from sales.
Okay. Any questions now?
Jennifer, on this 6-month cash flow, is December actual now, or is that?
You know, I need to go back and look at that. It was basically it was kind of actual in terms of like the income that was coming in, but I can go back and look at the other expenses.
Okay. Because I'm just trying to correlate it to the
I mean, it's,
December expense sheet.
yeah. Yeah, I didn't go back and
Okay. Alright.
update that, but I can do that for the next time.
Okay. Like you said, you know, the sales is what's going to keep us a positive line here.
Mhm.
And at least we have some in the pipeline, not sales, but possibilities. So that's good. All right, I'll accept a motion to accept the financials.
I'll make that motion.
Thanks, Joe. Do I have a second?
Second.
Anthony
Thanks,
seconds.
Ramona. Oh, you missed out. Anthony, we'll get you next time. All in favor, let me do it this way. Is there anyone opposed to accepting the financial report? All righty, it's accepted with no opposition. All right, strategic planning process.
Yeah, so we had scheduled a follow-up to our retreat that we had, it was in December now, for January 26th. We were I had put in Shelter House as the location, but we were looking into changing the location to a more of a warmer spot.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, dress warmly.
And also, you know, more of a conference room with the, you know, AV equipment. So we were looking into Wireworks, the Beehive co-working space at Wireworks. Their largest conference room, which isn't that large, it's for about 10 to 12 people, is not, they have it booked at 12 going on. So I didn't know if the board was okay with changing the time from 9 to 12 instead of 9:30 to 12:30 and doing it at Wireworks instead.
Anybody have an objection, or that just, they can't quite make that? So I'd really like everyone to be there and we can, you know, jump off right at 9 o'clock.
Yeah, that I can't make it. I have, you know, work obligations, so it's not good for me.
You mean
Are you
in
able?
general or coming at 9 instead of 9:30?
In general, yeah. During the day is better for me.
Oh, that's too bad. But I know how impossible it is to get everybody together at the same time at the same place. Okay, so if everybody who can make it that day can make it at 9, let's move it to Wireworks. And if you'll just send out a little reminder and the exact address for everybody.
Okay.
Okay, here's my pen. Okay. Anything else about it, Jen?
Not really. I mean, there isn't anything specific, no.
Okay. All righty. Moving on, the employee handbook. Thank you for those who brought comments or questions or clarifications. Have you had chance to review it? And are there any more questions or comments?
Yeah, I reviewed it and I thought that, you know, it looked pretty standard. It seemed to cover everything. I know that in the past we had some employee issues, and, you know, hopefully this will, you know, cover the land bank if anything comes up in the future. I thought it was good.
Is Darius with us?
No, I just realized he's not on. there were a couple of points that some board members suggested, the attorney should review that are related to kind of discipline and termination and things like that. But yeah, I don't see
Okay.
Darius. He didn't say he wasn't coming.
All righty. So how about this? How about if we accept the handbook with the proviso that the attorney review it and make any comments? And if he has no substantive comments, we can go ahead and accept it.
Or at least, and comment to the questions that the board members proposed, Lisa. That way we know he.
I'm sorry, Joe, I couldn't hear you.
I would say also have him answer the questions that were proposed by board members, so we know he addressed those issues or concerns, questions, I should say, not issues.
Good point. All right. All those, is there anybody opposed to accepting the handbook with those couple of provisos?
Nope.
Okay. We now have a new and improved employee handbook. And we'll check back next month just to let everybody know if Darius had any kind of concerns. Okay, moving right along. New development in progress, house to home, the 2 projects on Johnston Street.
Yeah, so these are continuing to be completed. We're at final punch list items. We had our final open house the beginning of the first week of January, and the deadline for the applications for purchasers was this past Friday. And we will, I guess, into executive session can go over those applications
Okay.
board received. We did have a small issue with our contractor not wanting to pay for the appliances and claiming that it wasn't clear in the contract that they had to. And we kind of settled with them that they were going to do the stoves and hoods, and we were going to do the remaining appliances, which is kind of half and half.
Who's the contractor, Jen?
Tenor Contracting.
Okay.
It's been a very tight budget with all the increases in costs. So we decided to, work that out. It wasn't a lot of money, and we just want to get the projects done.
Okay. We'll discuss an exec.
Mhm.
How about the Lander Street properties?
Those are coming along. Eric visited last week. They're putting in drywall. They got their, was it in insulation inspection, I believe. So they're able to, and all the other rough plumbing and electric and everything. So they're closing up walls, have the windows in, etc.
Eric, how about if you give us a on the spot report?
Yeah, sure. So 115 Lander, both 115 Lander and 150 Lander have completed rough framing, rough plumbing, rough electric inspections. That's based off of, as of last meeting, that was the case too. The windows have also been installed. The insulation inspection at 115 Lander has passed. They began drywall. At 150 Lander, they've scheduled the insulation inspection, but it's been canceled a couple of times due to, I think, staffing issues. And they have rescheduled that one. So that one's anticipated to be complete very soon. Yeah, the buildings look really, really great. It's exciting to see these particular ones happen. So that's about it so far. So hopefully within the next month, we'll have drywall and everything in there and start moving towards other more finished items.
They do look nice. It's
Yeah.
great to see. And as pertains to the inspections, we had, city hired a new building inspector. The last gentleman we had went on to greener pastures, unfortunately. So we have a new building inspector, and I'm sure it's going to take some time for her to get her feet on the ground. Okay, good. Okay, the lots on Lander.
So again, the subdivision was approved and supposedly have filed with the county, and we've been waiting to get the filing receipt and lot numbers, which I've been following up with JK, and I guess she hasn't been able to get that confirmation. And the church has reached out multiple times. They seem to think that they have to have all of that information in order to start their process with the Charities Bureau to get permission to sell church property or church assets. But the attorney that I'm working with on our Legacy Cities project told me yesterday that he's done many of those for churches, and that's not the case. They should have started the petition already to the Attorney General. So I left a message for the pastor yesterday, letting her know that if they haven't already started, they don't need to wait for that subdivision confirmation.
When you hear back from the pastor, if they're still not convinced, maybe you can arrange a direct phone call from the attorney.
Yeah.
So I don't feel bad that we haven't heard back from the county, because nothing can be done either way. So
Right, but that is it can be a very lengthy process, and apparently it's different depending on what denomination. So
okay.
I don't know exactly how it will be for theirs, but it could take a while.
All righty. There's not much we can do. But we're in process. That's a good thing.
Mhm.
All right. 143 Washington.
So maybe you have an update. I wasn't able to make it to the planning board meeting last night, but I know they were on the agenda.
Yes. The plan lacked a number of substantial points, and I don't think they will be back until March meeting. They need to come to another workshop in between times. I don't know this. I don't think I've seen this gentleman before, but Ally, has he come before the planning board? And I just don't.
I don't think he's gone before any planning board, is what the feedback I've got.
That was the feeling. Yes.
The architect
or
or the developer?
BJH was not there.
Okay.
Hold on a second. Let me pull my planning. Oh, my planning board notes are right here. Sorry, it was a long meeting. I've got a lot of papers. They are. Jonathan Powell is the gentleman's name.
Yes.
Yeah, he got more nervous as the night went on. I mean, everybody was positive, but usually documents are in better condition. So there was a lot of things that had to be either fixed up or had been not addressed. So they'll be back. Sorry, I don't have better news.
Let's do that. And I think they're scheduled for the next ARC meeting, but I'm not positive about that.
Yeah, I didn't take notes on that.
Yeah.
All righty, 128 Du Bois.
So we haven't been able to finalize or execute a contract with them. I think that's another topic to be addressed in executive.
Okay. Okay, house to home.
No, we already discussed that. Those are the Johnston and Lander properties. The
Oh.
Legacy City. Oh, yes. That's
I'm
true.
sorry.
Legacy City also says house to home is true. So the Legacy City funding, we're continuing to work on the plans. We got some preliminary schematics from the architect on 3 of the properties, and some other initial drawings for the others. That's really kind of what we're waiting on in order to solidify numbers, and it's a lot because it's 6 separate properties. But we are meeting with CPC and on a regular basis, and the developer or co-developer, we're working on the legal agreements necessary to, with setting up a separate legal entity and agreements with the other developer. I've been in touch with Madeline in terms of the HCR commitment, and they've just been working on their end on the legal aspect and how they're handling it. So I'm waiting on them as well for that and to get a commitment from HCR of the funding, although there was like an announcement in the paper last week that we got the funding. But I think that it's just a matter of time and nailing down the exact budgets. So yeah, it's moving along with those 6 properties. I don't know if
Someone had posted on Facebook the article, and a lot of people don't understand that you've been awarded something doesn't mean you have it in your hot little hands. And somebody commented, well, no work's happened yet, like accusing. And I said, well, nobody has the money yet. But that's when you hear that, everybody thinks, oh, then the machine should be on site. So this is going to take a while. Maybe somebody needs to do an update. Yeah, thanks for the money. When do we see it, kind of thing. Okay, on to Chambers Street.
So yeah, we discussed last month that we had gotten the appraisal, and I recirculated the RFP draft to the board. I don't know if the board has any questions about the RFP.
Yeah, first of all, there's a typo on the first page. I don't think, hold on, I have it here. It says post-married rather than postmarked. But other than that, I'm concerned that nothing addresses the adjacency to the city-owned parcel and its remediation. So I am certainly not an attorney, but so I don't know. It's hard with Darius not being here, what we have to tell them and what we should tell them, and if those things are different. But there was testing done on this site. It is certainly listed. If anyone does a phase 1, they'll freak out. But so I think we should have some sort of acknowledgement there. There's literally nothing.
Right.
I noticed that too.
Sorry.
I'm sorry. I noticed that too, and I didn't know where I'm sure there's a spot in here to put it, but I said, didn't we have work done on there? So I think you're right, because somebody's going to say, oh, they didn't tell me this. Never mind. And yeah, we can't reveal that after there have been submittals. We'd be back to ground zero, literally.
Right. Well, we can mention that we can decide how we want to discuss it, but we can also include we did get a phase 1 and then subsequent testing that determined that there weren't any underground oil tanks on our side. And then when the DEC did start their, and we have a kind of an email from DEC confirming that they did some clean out of our side of soils that had been contaminated from the city side.
If they did clean up, I know that we're strapped for cash. And I'm not an attorney. I don't think we can sell it until the DEC signs off on it. I'm not an attorney, but one needs to answer that.
Oh, an email
I
won't
have to
cut.
agree with Ellie on that.
Absolutely not. It's
Mhm.
again, ask an attorney, and maybe I'm wrong and too conservative because I spend my days with Michelle Kelson, but I
Right.
I know I couldn't sell my house until I had the letter from E DEC.
Lisa Daly is the perfect example of this many times over.
So Ken, is there like a rush to get this out, or?
Well, it's just, we need the revenue, and, it takes a long time for a project to be proposed and approved and then actually.
I think that, you're gonna have to hold off, right, until you have the sign off at least from the DEC.
Yeah, I wasn't
Say
sure.
that
if they
again,
were-
Ramona. I'm sorry, I couldn't hear Ramona.
I would say that, we shouldn't rush this, and we should make sure that, we've got everything covered. God forbid this should come back to bite us because, we're rushing to get this RFP out, right?
Oh, true. I agree. And I think that problem with the soil has got to be put in there. I was just looking at page 5 of the document, and I think that that first paragraph explaining that it was formerly a parking lot would be a place to put in the issues that we discovered and how it was remediated. But that DEC letter, I was lucky. The DEC letter came in a lot faster. They're known for dragging their feet. But it's been quite a while since we had that email, months and months. So I
we
think
check up because, we're trying to sell 151 as well. So, we check up from time to time. Jason's been told as much as last week that, that they're still behind and processing for ours, which will obviously be longer and more complicated, but
I wasn't even clear if they were doing the same process for us, because it was just kind of almost like an add-on to the other properties remediation. It wasn't like it wasn't as formal.
well, then
of a
I think you
process.
should ask the attorney
Yeah.
what you need.
Yeah. Sure.
How long were you thinking once we do release the RFP turnaround time? Like a month or so?
Yeah, 60 days. It takes a while to get a proposal together for that kind of thing.
Yeah, especially for this. Yeah. Okay. Anything else anybody noticed? Okay, so let's clean up that so that everything's above board and everybody's aware of what's there or what's not there. All right. Anybody else have anything else before we go into executive session?
No.
All righty. I think we need a vote to close the meeting. No, a vote to move into executive session. That's it. Anybody like to make that motion? Thanks,
make that
Joe.
motion.
And Ally, you seconded.
Second, yes.
Anyone opposed to going into executive session?